Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare। बोलो बोलो सब लोग जोर से बोलिए। हरे कृष्णा, हरे कृष्णा, कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम हरे राम, राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा हरे कृष्णा, कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम हरे राम, राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा हरे कृष्णा, कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम हरे राम, राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा हरे कृष्णा, कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम हरे राम, राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा हरे कृष्णा, कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम हरे राम, राम राम हरे हरे, सब लोग जोर से बोलिए। हरे कृष्णा हरे कृष्णा, कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, bolo, 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 bolo. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Bolo, 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 bolo. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami. Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami. Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami. Enam Kanvanta Maravindanalaya Taksham Bhagavatam Samasitam Buddha Sundaram Kandar Agom Vigamaniya Vishesha Shobham Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami. Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami. Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami. Andani Yasa Sakalen Priya Priti Manti Vasyanti Pam Vikayanti Tiram Naganti Ananda Chinmaya Sadhu Jala Vigrahasya Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami. Govindam Adipurusham
Jaya Radha Shama Sundar Radha Shama Sundar Radhe. Lalita Vishaka Jaya Radhe Sham. Lalita Vishaka Jaya Radhe Sham. Jai Krishna Balaram, Krishna Balaram, Krishna Balaram, Jaya Krishna Balaram. Jaya Gauranitai, 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 Jaya Gauranitai. Prabhupada, 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 Jai Prabhupada. Jaya, Jai Prabhupada, 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 Jai Prabhupada. Jaya, Jai Prabhupada, 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 Jai Prabhupada. Jaya, Jai Prabhupada, 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 Jai Prabhupada. Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakti Sadma. Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakti Sadma. Bando Moye Sabadana Mate. Bando Moye Sabadana Mate. Yahara prasade bai e bhavatoria jai. Yahara prasade bai e bhavatoria jai. Krishna prapti hoy jaha hoy te. Krishna prapti hoy jaha hoy te. Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Chute Te Korya Aikya. Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Chute Te Korya Aikya. Arana kori ho mane asha. Arana kori ho mane asha. Shri Guru Charane Rate Aise Utama Gati. Shri Guru Charane Rate Aise Utama Gati. Jai Prasade Pure Sarva Asha. Jai Prasade Pure Sarva Asha. Chakudam dilo jai janme janme Prabhu se. Chakudam dilo jai janme janme Prabhu se. Debe gyan hriday prakashita. Debe gyan hriday prakashita. Prema bhakti ahoite avidya vinashayate. Prema bhakti ahoite avidya vinashayate. Dede gaya haracharito. Dede gaya haracharito. Shigaru Karuna Sindhu Adama Janara Bandhu. Shigaru Karuna Sindhu Adama Janara Bandhu. Lokena Lokera Jivana. Lokena Lokera Jivana. Ahaha Prabhu Kaura Doya Deha More Pada Choya. Aha Prabhu Kaura Doya Deha More Pada Choya. Ebeyas Gusho Tribhuvana. Ebeyas Gusho Tribhuvana. Shri Guru Karuna Sindhu Adama Janara Bandhu. Shri Guru Karuna Sindhu Adama Janara Bandhu. Shri Guru Karuna Sindhu Adama Janara Bandhu. Lokena Lokera Jivana. Lokena Lokera Jivana. Ha ha Prabhu Kaura Doya Deha More Pada Choya. Ha ha Prabhu Kaura Doya Deha More Pada Choya. Prabhupada Patita Pavana. Srila Prabhupada Patita Pavana. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Prabhupada, 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 Jai Prabhupada. Jai Jai Prabhupada, 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 Jai Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ke. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti-Vedanta Swami Niti Namane. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschacha Deshatarane. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Oh, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Oh, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Oh, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Oh! Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Gauranga, Joy Nitai. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Bolo, bolo. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Bolo. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Bolo, bolo. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Bolo Hari. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hari Om Tat Sat. Dhanyavad. Now we're having a class by His Grace Mukunda Datta Prabhu. Those Hindi Walas can go to Balaram Hall. Chalo, Balaram Hall, Hindi Walas.
Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana यशोदानन्दना व्रजजनरञ्जना यशोदानन्दना व्रजजनरञ्जना यशोदानन्दना व्रजजनरञ्जना जमुनातीरवनचारी 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 जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जना यशोदानन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जना यशोदानन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जना जमुनातीरवनचारी जमुनातीरवनचारी जय जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे बोलो निताय गौरांग जय सचिनंदन जय कृष्ण बलराम कृष्ण बलराम जय कृष्ण बलराम ललिता विशाखा जय राधे श्याम ललिता विशाखा जय राधे श्याम जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय गुरुदेव गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल जयं विष्णुपद परमहंस परवृषगाचार्य अष्टोत्तरशत श्री श्रीमद शिल अभय चरणानंद भक्ति वेदांत साई महाराज श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय नाम आचार्य श्रील ठाकुर हरिदास की जय प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंद राधा कुंद गिरि गोवर्धन की जय। वृंदावन धाम की जय। नवदीप मायापुर धाम की जय। गंगा देवी की जय। यमुनामयी की जय। भक्ति देवी की जय। तुलसी महारानी की जय। समवेत भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री हरि नाम संकीर्तन की जय। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। इस्कॉन बीबीथी संस्थापक आचार्य श्री प्रभुपाद की जय। गौ प्रेमानंदे। All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Sri Guru and Gauranga. Jai Shri Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet Nashta Praishwa Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki Krishne Swadhamo Bhagate Dharmajnanadibhisaham Kalau Nashtatrashamesha Puranarko Dhunoditaha. Grantharaj Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 13. Today we are on text number 20. We repeat. Swayam Atma Atmagovatsan Prativarya Atmavatsapaihi Kriran Atmaviharaihi Cha Sarvatma Pravishat Vrajam Swayamatmatmagovatsan Prativaryatmavatsapaihi Kridanatmaviharaischa Sarvatma Pravarshadvrajam Swayamatmatmagovatsan Prativaryatmavatsapaihi Kridanatmaviharaischa Sarvatma Pravarshadvrajam Swayamatmatmagovatsan Prativaryatmavatsapaihi Kridan Atmaviharaischa Sarvatma Pravishadvrajam. Ladies? Swayam Atma Krishna, who is personally the Supreme Soul, the Super Soul. Atmago Vatsan, now expanded into calves, there were also he himself. Prativarya Atma Vatsapaihi, again, he himself was represented as the cowherd boys controlling and commanding the calves. Kridan, thus himself constituting everything in these transcendental pastimes. Atma, the Super Soul, Krishna. Pravrishat, yeah, we're missing something, sorry. Atma Viharehicha, enjoying himself by himself in different ways. Sarva Atma, the Super Soul, Krishna. Pravrishat, entered. Vrajam, Vrajbhumi, the land of Maharaj Nanda and Yashoda. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, founder and Acharya of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Now expanding himself so as to appear as all the calves and cowherd boys, all of them as they were, and at the same time appear as their leader, Krishna entered Vrajbhumi, the land of his father, Nanda Maharaj, just as he usually did while enjoying their company. Please repeat. Now, expanding himself so as to appear as all the calves and cowherd boys, all of them as they were, and at the same time appear as their leader. Krishna entered Vrajbhumi, the land of his father, Nanda Maharaj, just as he usually did while enjoying their company. Purport. Krishna usually stayed in the forest and pasturing ground, taking care of the calves and cows with his associates, the cowherd boys. Now that the original group had been taken away by Brahma, Krishna himself assumed the forms of every member of the group without anyone's knowledge, even the knowledge of Baladev, and continued the usual program. he was ordering his friends to do this and that. And he was controlling the calves and going into the forest to search for them when they went astray, allured by new grass. But these calves and boys were he himself. This was Krishna's inconceivable potency. As explained by Srila Jiva Goswami, Radha Krishna Pranaya Vriktir Hladini Shakti Rasmat. Radha and Krishna are the same. Krishna, by expanding his pleasure potency, becomes Radharani. The same pleasure potency, Ananda Chinmaya Rasa, was expanded by Krishna when he himself became all the calves and boys and enjoyed transcendental bliss in Vrajbhumi. This was done by the Yogamaya potency and was inconceivable to the potency of Mahamaya. Oma jnana timirantasya jnanan janashalakaya chakshurun militam yena tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guroho Shri Yutapara Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha. Hey Krishna Karuna Sindho Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate. Taptakanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye. Vansha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripasindhupya Evacha Patitanam Pavanibhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Madgavi Ravi Gopala Swikuryat Kripaya Yadi Tadaivasam Payaha Pitwa Krishyayus Tat Priyajanaha. Swayam Atmatma Govatsan Prativaryatma Vatsapaihi Kriran Atma Viharescha Sarvatma Pravishad Vrajam. Now expanding himself so as to appear as all the calves and cowherd boys, all of them as they were, and at the same time appear as their leader, Krishna entered Vrajbhumi, the land of his father, Nanda Maharaj, just as he usually did while enjoying their company. Those who are very carefully listening have already noticed Srila Prabhupada is adding quite a bit here to his translation, and even his glosses, even his word-for-word synonyms are, I think, more than just clauses. There are practically several sentences there. Also, for example, Vrajam, one word, Vrajam. We know what is Vrajam, we're sitting in Vrajam. He translates as Vrajbhumi, the land of Maharaj Nanda and Yashoda. Why? I don't have an answer. These are things beyond all of us, but it brings to mind something we're often reminded of, that Srila Prabhupada said these purports are his devotional ecstasies. I don't know what's going on here in this translation and purport in Srila Prabhupada's heart, but it's very relishable. Atmavatsapaihi, Prativarya Atmavatsapaihi. Srila Prabhupada translates this as, again, he himself was represented as the cowherd boys controlling and commanding the calves. Prativarya means to restrict someone or to ward something off or to prevent someone from doing something. Now, Krishna is doing this to himself in this case. Inconceivable pastimes. So, Atma, the word Atma is used here how many times? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. What does Atma mean? We know Atma means, according to the 10th canto, chapter 7, text number 31, Atma Jnanamayaha Shuddha, pure consciousness. This is Atma. Pure awareness, actually. Jnana. Jnana means awareness. It doesn't actually mean knowledge, although that's the easiest way to translate it. But actually it means to be aware of something. And Srila Prabhupada often used to say that the symptom of the soul is consciousness. So this verse confirms that. 10th canto, chapter 47, text 31. Atma Jnanamaya Shuddha. This is Krishna. We are also such consciousness. But of the many expansions of consciousness that are known as Atma, we are small, and Krishna is great. This is what makes these transcendental pastimes so wonderful. Normally, Krishna is the predominating Atma, and we are the predominated Atma. Now, Krishna himself has become both. We've already heard in commentaries on the previous verses that there are 4 reasons that Krishna did this. Anybody remember what they are? Number 1, Krishna wants to show that he's able to bewilder everyone. Even Balaram. Balaram is Krishna himself. Another inconceivable pastime. So he wants to show that. Number 2, he wants to please his devotees. Many times we've discussed that of the 2 reasons that Krishna comes to this world, what are those 2 reasons? From Bhagavad-Gita chapter 4. Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya dushkritam. To destroy the dushkritis is not a big job for Krishna. That's the easy thing. Even Maya takes care of it most of the time. And paritrana alone, to give liberation to the devotees, is also not so special thing. It happens pretty frequently. Muktim dadati kaharchit smana bhakti-yogam. But to exchange prema with his devotees, this is a special thing. This is a very special thing. Don't take it for granted. You can lose this opportunity. We're sitting here in Vrindavan today. Not every one of us will still be following this process in a few years. You need to know this. What are the statistics that Krishna gives in Bhagavad-Gita? Manushyanam sahasreshu ityadi. So, 1 out of 1,000,000 persons can really enter into the mystery of this kind of Leela, in which Krishna's sole purpose is to exchange rasa with his devotees. So that's the second reason. He wants to please his devotees. Which devotees? The Gopas and the Gopis both, but especially the Gopis. Rupa Goswami tells us in Nectar of Devotion, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, that Krishna is he's more fond of women. Therefore, next time someone asks you, what is the position of women in Krishna consciousness? You can tell them they have specially favored status. They have a natural predilection for bhakti that is harder for the man because of this Purusha Abhiman. We're all working hard to unravel that knot, false ego. You're lucky because Krishna likes you more if you're a gopi. So he's doing this especially to please the gopis. And which class of gopis? All the gopis, of course, but especially here the older gopis, the mothers. We usually think of this pastime in this chapter as the pinnacle of Sakhya-rasa, the Lord's Leela with his devotees in friendship, his cowherd boyfriends. But actually there's a strong element of Vatsalya rasa here as well, because Krishna, one of his purposes is to please these ladies, the mothers. Why? Because they see Yashoda. How much love does Yashoda have for Krishna? Navanayoho stanayorapi yukmataha paripatadbhirasao payasam charehi. Ahavallabharaj griheshwari swatanayam pranayarapi shinchati. Rupa Goswami says in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu Mother Yashoda has so much love for Krishna that when Krishna comes home in Godhulikal, everybody understands Godhulikal here. Godhulikal means cow dust time. The end of the day when the cows are coming back to their Goshala from the pasture and they're raising clouds of dust. At that time, Mother Yashoda sends the gopis up to the rooftops. There's a structure there called the Chandrashala. And she wants the gopis to be on the lookout for any clouds of dust on the horizon. And she especially sends the tall gopis to do this because it's presumed they can see farther. So, at that time when Krishna finally arrives home, it's a festive occasion, Srila Prabhupada writes in one Bhagavatam purport. Whenever the Lord appears, it's a big festival, every day. And they're waving Arati, and they're giving him, throwing flowers, and Krishna takes his bath, and he sits down to take his meal, but Mother Yashoda's holding him in her lap, and Navanayostanayorapi yugmataha. From her two breasts, milk is automatically flowing. And she's so joyful when Krishna comes home that the tears are just flowing automatically. And the tears mix with the breast milk and they bathe the Supreme Personality of God. That's a very special abhishek, prema abhishekam. So, it is to please these devotees. Now, the gopis in Vrindavan, the elder ladies, cowherd men's wives, they see that this kind of love, Yashoda has such a special, we all love Krishna. In Vraj, we were hearing the other day from Dinabandhu Prabhu so nicely, that everybody in Vrindavan loves Krishna actually more than their own children. Although usually in this material world we all love our own children first. In Vrindavan it's the opposite way. They love Krishna first and then they love their children. But this time they all love their own children more because their own children were not their own children but were Krishna himself expanded. Sarvatma. Atma Vatsapaihi. Vatsapa. Vatsapa means the ones who take care of the little Vatsas. What does Vatsa mean? Small cows, baby cows. That's where we get the word Vatsalya Rasa. Vatsalya. Because there's so much affection, natural affection for the Vatsa. It's called Vatsalya. So Vatsa means a calf, Go Vatsa. Bacha, we say in Hindi. So Sanatana Goswami has pointed out that in this pastime, that the cows, they naturally have more affection for their calves. That is, everybody knows. The, 2nd century Buddhist poet Ashvaghosh, in his Buddha Charita, he wrote, Pranashtavatsam iva vatsalam gam. Someone who is as destroyed as a cow who has lost her calf. That is the pinnacle of depression or devastation. A cow who has lost her calf. So these cows have natural affection for Krishna, but here it's increased affection. Why? Because Atma Govatsan. All these Govatsas have become Atma, the Supreme Atma, Paramatma. It's Prabhupada translates here in his word for word. Krishna, who is personally the Supreme Soul, the Super Soul. So 5 Atmas here. One of them is Swayam Atma, that is Krishna himself. And then Govatsan. Atma is in the Prathama Vibhakti, if you understand Sanskrit grammar, the subject case. Govatsan, these are the objects. This is what is receiving the verb, you can say. And the agent through which this is being carried out, Atma Vatsapehi, by the cowherd boys, those who are entrusted with protecting the Vatsas. So the whole thing is, but in every single case, Atma, Atma, Atma. It's all Krishna, because he is Sarvatma. Now, even Srihar Swami points out, Atmi Viharaischa, even the activities, even the things that Krishna is doing in imitation of all these boys, that is also Krishna. Everything. Sarvatma. That's one way to understand Sarvatma. A few ways are given. But anyway, So Krishna pleases these devotees. He comes to please these gopis. Another purpose we're going to hear about in this chapter and the following chapter is obvious. Brahma Vimohan Lila means he wants to dismay Lord Brahma. He wants to completely bewilder Lord Brahma. Just for fun. He's a small boy at this point. This is what boys are playful. So he wants to play with Brahma. And that is his position. So he's doing like this. And finally, he's merciful at the same time. So he wants to give darshan to Lord Brahma. How does he give his darshan to Lord Brahma? Later on in the chapter. By manifesting hundreds and thousands of Vishnu forms in front of Brahma, his worshipable deity. And in the end, he comes again to this beautiful small form, small boy in Vrindavan, Nanda Tanaya. Pashupa Angaja, he's described in the next chapter. The offspring of the protector of the cows. Who protects the cows in Vrajbhumi? Nanda Maharaj. Isliye Srila Prabhupada writes, Vrajbhumi means the land of Nanda, Maharaj, Nanda and Yashoda. He's the main Pashupa or Vatsapa. And all the others are following. So, Naumi Dyate Bhravabhushe Taridambaraya Gunjavatang Saparipitchalasan Mukhaya Vanyasraje Kavalavetra Vishana Veno Lakshma Shriye Mridupade Pashupangajaya. This is Brahma's vision of Krishna. So beautifully described. Nomi, I offer my respectful obeisances to whom? Ilya, the person who is the most worshipable. Te, that would be you, sir. Krishna. Nomi jite abhravabhushe. He has a beautiful darkish form, like blackish like rain clouds. Or as Rupa Goswami elsewhere describes, Ujjvala Nilamani, like a radiant sapphire. Krishna's form is like this. Like a blue lotus, or Bilvamangala Thakur describes like a flax flower. Flax flowers, according to him, is blue. All these descriptions are given by our acharyas. So this is Abhravabhushe. Taridambaraya. But to contrast that, his dress is what? Bright yellow silk. Pita, Pitambara. Or as it says here, Tarid Ambara. Tarid means lightning. Bright, shiny silk. Gunjavatangsa. His earrings are little gunja berries. In South India they call manjari guru. This same thing. Gunja berries, we decorate the deity. Krishna is very fond of these. So, Gunjavatangsa Paripicha, and he's wearing the peacock feather for which he's famous. Morapaka, Siru Upara Rakhiho, ISKCON describes. So, Paripichala Sanmukhaya, and his face is radiant. Why is his face radiant? His face is radiant with bliss, because he is the personification of Satchidananda. Paripichala Sanmukhaya, Vanyasraje, he's wearing a garland of what kind of flowers? The flowers that can be found in the forest. Just like here in Vrindavan forest, we find now champa flowers are disappearing slowly, especially if you live in MPG. And other kinds of flowers. Lotus flowers are there. All the flowers that we offer Krishna and Balaram and their friends. So, Vanyasraje, Kavala Vetra Vishana Venu. And what is he holding? Kavala. Kavala means yogurt rice. That proves that Krishna is from Tamil Nadu. So, even in January at the North Pole, the Tamils will eat their yogurt rice. So, he's been interrupted. They were eating a happy meal, and suddenly the cowherd boys noticed that the cows are all there. Where'd they go? So no, I'll get them. So he's still holding his yogurt rice in his hands. What else does he have? Vishana. He has his bugle for the cows. He has his Venu, his flute. What is it? Lakshma Shri Mridu Pareva. Kavalavetra Vishana Venu. Lakshma Shriye. These are his opulence and mridupade, his beautiful soft lotus feet. Pashupangaja. This is the Lord, Pashupangaja. So this Lord, Brahma, he wants to bewilder Brahma, but after bewildering Brahma and humbling Brahma, he appears in his actual form as Swayam Atma. We've come to home now. Swayam Atma. And this Swayam Atma had expanded himself as Atma Govatsan, Vatsapa, Atma Vihara, Sarvatma. So, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has described how is this all affected? This is all affected by his Achintya Shakti. Achintya Shakti. And it's Sanatana Goswami has given the most extensive commentary on this verse. He points out also that this is the Yoga Maya. Achintya Shakti means Yoga Maya, which the Prabhupada faithfully repeats for us at the end of his purport. So, why does Krishna expand in these forms? We've given 4 reasons. He wants to show that he has the potency to bewilder anyone. He wants to humble Lord Brahma. He wants to please his devotees. He wants to give darshan. So, in terms of pleasing his devotees, Sanatana Goswami quotes from the 9th canto, Naham Atmanam Ashase Mad Bhaktai Sadhubhirvina. This is 9th canto, chapter 4, text number 64. Krishna says, without my saintly devotees, I can't enjoy myself. And he adds, Shriyam Chatyantakim Brahman Yesham Gatir Aham Para. These devotees have made me the supreme goal of their lives. Their whole existence is meant for me only. With those devotees, I cannot live without them. And Sanatana Goswami raises the question that when Brahma took away the cowherd boys, of course we know, he didn't really take away the real boys. He took away these imitation boys, just like when the demons tried to kidnap Sita. So, what happened to the boys? They're put into suspended animation, you can say. They go to sleep by the agency of Yoga Maya. But why does Krishna present facsimiles? Not facsimiles, exact copies, exact. The word is used many times in the previous text, which is so sweet, I just want to recite it again, if you don't mind. Yavad vatsa bhavatsa kalpakavapur Yavad karangryadikam Yavad yashti vishana venu dalashig Yavad vibhushambaram Yavad chila gunabhita kritikvayo Yavad viharadikam Saravam vishnumayam gironga vadajaha Saravasvarupa bhaho. He became all the forms, but he became the forms in what way? Yavat, 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 yavat. 6 times. Yavat means exactly, as we say in English, to the T. No difference whatsoever. Even Balaram could not detect. Every little eye movement, every little, he has a blemish in this place, that's also there. The same jewelry, the same clothing they're wearing, the same activities they're performing at the same time in the same way their mothers cannot recognize. You can never fool your mother. You can never fool your mother. They know everything. But even these mothers were fooled. They thought, this is our child, but why do they love him so much? Because he's actually Krishna. He's actually Krishna. And Krishna's only purpose is to go there and accept their love. He's so hungry for that. This is his weakness. If God has a weakness, this is his singular weakness. What is that? Shri Krishna Akarshani Tatha. Rupa Goswami says the 6th and final excellence of bhakti is that it attracts Krishna. This is why he doesn't give it so easily. He doesn't give it so easily. We said already, muktim dadati, he'll give mukti to no problem. But if you're going to Krishna and praying, as we're doing this month, we want, what do we want? Aside from mukti, we want mokshavatim. Something even better than bhakti, means we want to be liberated, go to Vaikuntha and serve the Lord there. But we want something even better than that also. And what is that? Idam teva purnata. Gopala balam. The same form that Lord Brahma sees. We are also begging Srimati Radharani. Namo Radhikaye Tvadiya Priyaye. Because here and now, in this month, in this place, you can get this. That is the power of this month of Damodara. Urjavrata, Urjeshwari Kavrata. Urjeshwari means the goddess of intense devotion. If you want Tivra Bhakti, she's the one that you need to see. And Srila Prabhupada therefore mentions Srimati Radharani in particular. At the end of this purport, the same pleasure potency, Ananda Chinmaya Rasa. Where do we hear this phrase? Ananda Chinmaya Rasa? Okay, that's one place. There's actually two of them. Ananda Chinmaya Rasa Atmata Yamana Hasu. Opi. So, devotees, whether you're recollecting in your heart, or whether we're talking about the Lord's expansions, here as Prabhupada said, he's expanded as Srimati Radharani, his pleasure potency, and that same pleasure potency, he says, is expanded by Krishna when he himself became the calves and boys and enjoyed transcendental bliss in Brajbhumi. This is done by the Yogamaya potency and was inconceivable to persons under the potency of Mahamaya. So, Krishna says, I don't want to enjoy my own transcendental opulence. I can't be alone. Without my devotees, there's no happiness for me. So someone may ask, what about, then wasn't Krishna feeling pain then when he put these boys into suspended animation? This is the question naturally arises. And the answer is, there are a couple of answers depending on how you interpret it. But as I see, Sanatana Goswami's commentary, Krishna expanded himself as these boys so that he would not feel their separation. Even though they were all him himself, but they were there. And of course the boys didn't feel separation from Krishna also. You could say he's so hard-hearted, he just put them to sleep. But because they're asleep, when you're asleep you don't feel anything. So either way, Krishna's enjoying in this way. So, this is the explanation given by Sanatana Goswami. So, by the Achintya Shakti, the Lord expands in these wonderful leelas, and they're impossible to understand. I think it's in text number 61 of this chapter. It's actually stated directly in the verse, Natyam. This is all Natyam. What does Natyam mean? Drama. Nato natya taro yatha, Kunti Devi told us earlier in the first canto. Just as a person on stage is acting as if he's in distress, so in exactly that way, Krishna is looking around wondering, where are the cows? Where have the boys gone? As if he doesn't understand that Brahma, how can we understand this? We cannot. Because we're in, even if you're in Yogamaya, I think, you're not going to fully understand. Everybody is covered to some degree by some sort of Maya. This is the point. You can be covered by Yoga Maya if you choose. That is the intelligent thing. And now we have the chance. It may end tonight. You don't know. So take it while you can. Jabalaga tamame tapana vyape. Tabalaga kari hari seva. One poet said. While you can, you have to do this. So this is the greatest opportunity. By the grace of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and especially his dearmost representative, Srila Prabhupada, we have come to Vrindavan Dham in the month of Kartik, and we already are worshipping Damodar and Srimati Radharani in this Urjavrat process. So take it very seriously and determine yourselves and pray very hard that we can become pure devotees in this lifetime, and maybe someday we can also enter into these pastimes and enter into the mystery of their understanding. Here, Srila Prabhupada concludes his purport by saying that the Yoga Maya potency, the actions of the Yoga Maya potency, Atma Viharescha, this is inconceivable to persons who are under the potency of Mahamaya. That would be us. Jiva Goswami describes this also in his commentary on the Chatushloki Bhagavatam. When a person is conditioned by Mahamaya, he cannot understand or appreciate any of the workings of Yoga Maya. And vice versa. When a person is conditioned by Yoga Maya, he doesn't see. Maybe that's why Krishna says in 6th chapter, text 32, Atma upamyena sarvatra samam pashyat yorjana, ityadi, that a person who has empathy is actually the greatest of the yogis. If you have empathy, you can preach. That's something we can also pray for. All right, so I can't say I understand very much about this verse, frankly. Really, the core sentence here is very simple. Sarvatma vrajam pravishat. The Lord of everything, he entered Vraja. But the meaning of these terms is very deep, as we've already explained some of the Acharya's commentaries. Here, in this case, Krishna is himself, all these things. He is the pastimes, he's the cowherd boys, he's the calves themselves. He has not left out the calves or their mothers, keep in mind. Do you think the mothers of the calves, we've already discussed, of course they love their calves. So Krishna is also he's reciprocating with these cows. While you're here in Vrindavan, serve the cows, and they will take care of you as well. They are the embodiments of religion, the embodiment of all the gods, these cows. Make them happy, and you will be blessed beyond measure. You pray to these cows. They're kalpavrikshas. Kamadhenu means they can fulfill all the, like kalpavrikshas, they're kamadhenu. It means they can fulfill all of your desires. So pray, please let me become a Brajavasi also. Please let me have this love of Godhead as well. Do you know the experience when you approach a cow with a handful of roti and she immediately starts waving her head in ecstasy? You have that opportunity now. Or you can go to our Goshala and you can buy special gai ke laddu, laddus that are specially tailored to a cow's sensibilities. And they will not forget you for it. They will give you your blessings. Okay, I'm just rambling now, so I'm going to stop. But if anybody has any questions or any comments, Panchagoda Prabhu has raised his hand. Pratama Prashna.
When devotees first come to Krishna consciousness and experience the higher taste of chanting and dancing and the association and hearing so much nectar about the absolute truth in Krishna, so in one sense to have a little glimpse or a little taste of that spiritual quality. So what is it so domineering that throws one off to go back to mundane or material pleasures, and once you've experienced the higher taste, how you can give it up so quickly?
We leave Vrindavan. Rupa Goswami says, in some Krishna, he hears your prayers. Many people worship Krishna very ardently, and Krishna doesn't fulfill their desire all the time. He has that right. But here in Vrindavan, Padjavali says this, there's no question of whether you're even doing bhajan or not. You're just here, and you're going to get bhakti. That is the mercy of Rajadevi. So the best thing is just don't go home. Come and stay. Or
This is home.
yeah, this is home. Yeah, better yet. So, but we have our whatever it is that we have. So if you have to leave the dham, then at least take it with you. And let's say you're in Detroit, Michigan, of all God-forsaken places, and you have to take a shower before you go to work. So what are you meditating on other than the shower knob? Are you remembering Yamuna? Why not? Kalinda Tanaye Devi Paramananda Vardhini Snami Te Salale Sarvaparathan Mam Vimochaya. Why not pray like that? My dear daughter of Kalinda, you're the source of all supreme ecstasy. You can give this. You increase that supreme ecstasy. Snami Te Salale. I'm bathing in your water by meditation, of course. Sarvaparadhan mam vimochaya. Please free me from all of my offenses. If you do this every day, do you think she's not going to listen to you, even if you're in Vladivostok or Beijing or any of the other places that you may have to return to? This process works, so we have to take it with us. That's why we come here. This is an interesting, I want to say maybe demographic phenomenon, social phenomenon. When we come from outside places to Vrindavan, do we leave our imprint on Vrindavan more on Vrindavan, or does Vrindavan leave its imprint more on us? This is a very sober question to consider. Vrindavan is very different now than it was 40 years ago. Why is that? Something to think about. Just like Dina Bandhu was saying the other day, what was it, Chomohan or Sei, one of those two villages? Now there's a big housing project. It seems like everywhere in India there's big housing projects going on. And everywhere in the world, actually. And half of them are empty. That's another thing you all know. Anyway, so the point is that we should take this deeply into our hearts and take it back with us. And try to leave as little, just like the environmentalists say, don't leave your footprint where on Mother Nature, you know. So we try to make sure that the Dham has more of an influence on us than we have on the Dham. That's one answer. There are so many ways to answer that question, but I hope it's sufficient. Anyone else want to? Yes. You know, keep the time in mind because the bell is ringing for all of us.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Thank you so much for the wonderful class. In this chapter we understand that Brahmaji says Krishna no one can understand you. And our goal is also to love Krishna. And the basic understanding what we have is if we don't understand each other, then how can we develop love for the person? If we have friend or life partner. First thing is we need to understand him, then we can love him. And Prabhupada also writes that I have written so many books that you read and understand that you cannot understand.
Mm-hmm.
How to understand this that we cannot understand this?
Well, like everything else in Krishna consciousness, this is a genuine contradiction. Get used to it. You know what we call it? Achinja Bheda Bheda. So, we can know something of Krishna. We can know Krishna. Otherwise, why is the Bhagavad-Gita even there? Janma karma chame divyam evam yo vetti tatvataha. We can know Krishna in fact also. But it's always going to be conditioned by some sort of maya. That you need to know. So, we have our Mahamaya is conditioning us in most cases right now, so that we have to dissolve. And how do we do that? Very simple. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. But even when we get conditioned by Yoga Maya, these mothers don't know everything about Ras Leela, right? So we will be conditioned then too. We will lack some understanding of Krishna that he has, because that's what it means to be a part and parcel. I mentioned in the beginning, they're the big Atma and little Atma, right? Nityo Nityanam Chaitanas Chaitananam Ityadi from Shvetashvatara Upanishad. So we can know something of Krishna, and that is our perfection. We can know to our capacity. This is the point. Each has his own capacity. Swe swe adhikare yanishtha saguna parikirtata. That is the ideal. To whatever your capacity is, that thing you should meet. Clear? Okay, somebody over here had a question. Then Shubha Krishna after that.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. I had similar kind of question like in Bhagavad-Gita, Krishna is saying, Janma Karma Divya. And if we understand this, we will not take birth in this world. And here in this Srimad Bhagavatam, even Brahmaji is getting bewildered by this transcendental activity. So as a devotee, how we should ensure that we understand Krishna in a transcendental way, and we should not miss this opportunity.
Okay, easy answer for that one. You should understand that you cannot understand Krishna. You should retain the appreciation that I'm bewildered right now, and that I will always be bewildered right now. That really does wonders for humility. The fact of the matter is that, as I said, we can understand Krishna to some degree. We all, compared to the other guy, we understand Krishna. That can be said also. It's a Chintavedabhed. But to really understand Krishna, when even Brahmaji is bewildered, Brahma himself says, there's so many people say they understand Krishna, but as far as I'm concerned, no me jyate, bas. He just, the best position Prabhupada many times throughout the Bhagavatam tells us, Bhagavatam itself tells us, the best thing is just take a humble position and offer obeisances and be a devotee. Is that satisfactory?
Be humble, yeah. We can humble.
इतना ज्ञान होना चाहिए, अधिक की जरूरत नहीं होगी. Suva Krishna.
I have some confusion in my mind that every action of bhakti has infinite benefit. How I process this 1,000 times more benefit? I'm sorry, but it's like easy my process that everything that like Adamin was standing somewhere in maybe Kanpur, and he standing in a Karao or somewhere like that. So he was just standing in Narayan and it says millions of lifetimes of sense satisfied. This shows unlimited benefit. And this is not able to process. I mean, I have faith. This Vrindavan is very different, but how to process that 1,000 times more?
Well, we don't necessarily need to process it intellectually. In this world of bhakti, you want to feel it more. Yaswanubhavam akhila shruti saramekam. Na? So, the whole Bhagavatam really is nothing but Shukdev Goswami's personal experience. That's what it's all about, isn't it? So, we taste the honey without trying to photograph the jar and measure it and write up a report on it, and just open the bottle and taste it. It's simple. It's simple for the simple. And then you'll see everything. Then you'll know. Somebody who, like Daiva Shakti, such a wonderful class we heard yesterday, Daiva Shakti Mataji. Does she have any doubts about, maybe I should go back to New Jersey or whatever? No. She's got some realization of Vrindavan, very deep. So, this is the nature of Krishna consciousness. Yaswanubhavam. That is the Akhila Shruti Saramekam. That is the only thing that you're going to gain from all the Shrutis. And everything else just explains the Shruti. So what else do you want? Nothing else. Pratyakshavavagamam dharnamyam susukham kartam avyayam. Krishna says. All right, I think we should stop. Thank you very much, all of you, for listening patiently. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Krishna, Krishna, Hare, Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare